You've just stepped into the Motivation Library, a place where struggles turn into stories of strength and dreams transform into destinies. Every book is a path, every chapter a step forward. Today, we walk a new path. Let's begin. Preface: The war beneath the skin. Before the world changes, the mind must awaken. There is a war that no one sees. It is not fought on battlefields or in headlines. It rages in silence, beneath the surface of every thought, between the self we show and the self we hide. It is the war between what we know and what we believe, between our conscious will and the quiet gravity of the subconscious that shapes it. It is the war that determines every choice, every failure, every rebirth. And for most of us, it is a war we never even realize we're fighting. We chase success, love, peace, and freedom, never knowing that the real battlefield is within. We repeat patterns we swore we'd escape. We sabotage our own progress and call it fate. We bury our wounds and call it strength. And in that burial, the subconscious, the silent architect of our destiny, keeps building the same walls, the same fears, the same stories. Until one day, something inside us whispers, "What if the prison isn't out there? What if it's in here?" That whisper is the beginning of awakening. This book was born from that whisper, from the countless unseen wars I've fought within my own mind, from the sleepless nights when thoughts turned to storms, and from the moments of stillness when truth finally broke through the noise. It's not a manual. It's not a lecture. It's a mirror that will show you where your fears hide, where your beliefs were born, and where your power has been waiting all along. The conscious mind is the storyteller. It dreams, plans, and speaks of who we want to be. But the subconscious is the director behind the curtain. It decides what stories get told, what limits stay unbroken, and what reality takes form. Every emotion, every reaction, every coincidence. It's all a conversation between those two worlds, the one you control and the one that quietly controls you. When those two finally meet, not in conflict, but in harmony, that's when transformation begins. That's when destiny stops being written for you and starts being written through you. This book is a journey, not through theory, but through experience. It blends story, science, and soul to guide you through the hidden corridors of the mind. You will walk through your beliefs, your memories, your emotions, and emerge not just awakened, but reclaimed. Each chapter is a threshold, each story a mirror, each realization a key. And by the final page, you will not just understand your mind, you will command it. If you have ever felt torn between who you are and who you could be, if you have ever wondered why you repeat what hurts you, why peace feels fleeting, why your power always seems one step ahead of your reach, then this is your call to arms, not against the world, but for your awakening. Because the greatest revolution you will ever lead will happen in the space between your thoughts, where consciousness meets creation, and the infinite within begins to remember itself. Welcome to Power of the Conscious and Subconscious Mind. The war is over. The awakening begins. Chapter 1. The War of Two Worlds. Where thought meets destiny. The city was quiet that night. The kind of quiet that makes you feel the weight of your own heartbeat. Rain glazed the window, each droplet sliding down like a memory trying to forget itself. He sat there, head bowed, eyes lost in the reflections of streetlights. The glow flickered on his face like fragments of two lives, the one he was living and the one he was meant to live. The cup of coffee before him had gone cold hours ago, but he didn't notice. He was somewhere else, not in the room, not in the present. He was trapped between two worlds, one of awareness and one of autopilot, the inner battlefield. We all live this war. The conscious mind, the part of us that dreams, decides, and designs, whispers, "I can become more." But the subconscious, the shadow realm beneath, whispers back, "Stay where it's safe." This battle isn't fought with swords or soldiers. It's fought in silence, in the space between thought and action, courage and fear. It's the war between the self you see and the self you hide, between what you know you should do and what you keep doing anyway, between the light of awareness and the gravity of old patterns. And this war, though invisible, shapes every choice, every failure, every dream we chase but never catch. The split mind. The conscious mind is like the sunlight, bright, logical, deliberate. It speaks the language of reason, plans, strategies, goals. The subconscious is the ocean, vast, dark, ancient. It speaks the language of feeling, fear, desire, memory, instinct. The tragedy of most lives is that the sunlight thinks it's in charge, but it's the ocean that moves the tides. You say you want to succeed, but deep down, you fear being seen. You say you want love, but your wounds whisper, "Don't trust." You say you want peace, but your identity is built around chaos. Because that's what you've known. So the ocean wins. The subconscious wins. And you wake up one day wondering why the same cycles repeat. Different people, different places, same pain. The illusion of control. He had always believed he was making conscious choices. He thought he was steering his own life. Until he realized his reactions were not chosen, they were conditioned. Every time an opportunity came, he hesitated. Every time love got too close, he pushed it away. Every time success knocked, he sabotaged it before it could stay. Not because he didn't want joy, but because joy felt foreign. His nervous system had learned chaos as comfort, and stillness as danger. It wasn't his mind's fault. It was his programming. It was the silent code written by childhood fears, emotional scars, and unhealed memories. Lines of script buried so deep, they ran the entire show without his permission. The flashback. He remembered his father's voice, sharp, cold, heavy as thunder. "Stop dreaming. The world doesn't care about dreamers." He remembered the classroom laughter when he froze during a presentation. He remembered the heartbreak that taught him not to try again. Each moment carved a mark, a quiet command that became belief. Stay small. Stay invisible. Stay safe. And that's what he did, not consciously, but faithfully. He became a servant to a subconscious built from fear. The awakening. But that night, with the rain whispering at his window, something inside him cracked. He felt it like a tremor in his chest, a small rebellion rising. A voice from the depths, not loud, but unmistakably clear. What if your mind isn't broken? What if it's just asleep? The question lingered, electric and terrifying. He closed his eyes and felt it, the tug of two forces. One pulling him back into the comfort of his old identity, and one pulling him forward into the unknown of his potential. That was the war, and the awareness of it was the first victory. The science of the struggle. Modern neuroscience confirms what sages knew centuries ago. The subconscious mind controls up to 95% of our daily actions. Every habit, fear, or instinct is a stored pattern. When we repeat behaviors, even painful ones, the brain lays down neural pathways like tracks in the snow. The more we walk the same route, the deeper the tracks become. So, when you try to change your life consciously, you're often fighting against years, sometimes decades, of subconscious programming. That's why willpower fades. That's why motivation alone doesn't last. Because the real war is not about effort, it's about alignment. The moment of choice. He stood up. For the first time, he didn't reach for his phone or distractions. He reached for a notebook, the same one he hadn't opened in years. At the top of the first page, he wrote a single sentence. "Today, I begin to meet the other half of my mind." Not to fight it, not to destroy it, but to understand it. Because you cannot conquer what you refuse to face. The philosophy of duality. In every human being, there exists a divine duality. A conscious self that chooses and a subconscious self that creates. The conscious says, "I want change." The subconscious asks, "But who will I be without this pain?" Transformation is not about forcing your subconscious to obey. It's about teaching it to trust you again. It's about bringing awareness to what was once hidden, so that your two worlds no longer battle, but merge. When your conscious intention and subconscious emotion move in the same direction, you become unstoppable, because then, and only then, your mind, body, and spirit move as one. The turning point. He began practicing something new each morning. He would sit in stillness and whisper to himself, "I see you. I know you're afraid. But we're safe now." It felt strange at first, speaking to his own mind like it was a child who had been wounded and left alone. But that's exactly what it was. The subconscious is the inner child still trying to protect you using outdated rules. And slowly, something shifted. The storm inside him softened. The voices of fear began to sound less like warnings and more like echoes of a past that was losing power. He realized the truth. The subconscious doesn't need to be silenced. It needs to be heard. The bridge between worlds. Every great awakening begins with awareness. When you finally see the invisible war between fear and faith, logic and emotion, you begin to understand that peace is not the absence of struggle. It is the mastery of it. The mind is not your enemy. It's your most loyal servant, waiting for you to give it new orders, to write a new script, to command it not with fear, but with clarity. And in that realization, the war begins to end. Key takeaways. The conscious mind sets goals. The subconscious mind executes them. Every self-sabotaging pattern is a form of subconscious protection. Awareness is the first victory in the war within. The subconscious does not resist change. It resists uncertainty. When both parts of your mind align, you move from struggle to flow. Reflection exercise, meeting the other half. Tonight, before you sleep, sit in silence for 3 minutes. Close your eyes and place a hand over your heart. Ask yourself, what recurring pattern am I living unconsciously? What fear is my subconscious still trying to protect me from? What new belief would make both halves of me move in the same direction? Write your answers. Then whisper this affirmation. I am the bridge between my two worlds. My conscious dreams and my subconscious power now move as one. Do this nightly for 7 days, and you will begin to feel the two worlds within you slowly become one. Chapter 2. Whispers of the Hidden Self. The silent architect within. The sun was still climbing when he woke. For the first time in months, he didn't reach for his phone. Instead, he just listened. To the hum of the refrigerator. To the soft thud of his heartbeat. To the quiet that felt strangely alive, like the world itself was holding its breath. And in that stillness, he began to notice something he'd never really heard before. His own mind speaking back to him. It wasn't words exactly, more like faint currents of emotion, memories, and sensations weaving through thought. It was subtle, like a whisper behind a wall, but it was there. That was the voice he had always mistaken for instinct, for intuition, for the way I am. But now, with awareness, he could hear it for what it truly was. The subconscious mind, the hidden self, speaking in its own language. The voice beneath the voice. Most people think they're thinking, but what they're really doing is remembering. Every reaction, every judgment, every hesitation is a replay, a reflex shaped by unseen memories that live far below the surface of consciousness. The subconscious doesn't speak in logic. It speaks in emotion, repetition, and image. It speaks through the tightening of your chest before you speak your truth, through the hesitation before opportunity, through the sudden fear that appears when love gets too close. It speaks through the patterns that repeat, not because you're cursed, but because your inner programming is still trying to protect you from a danger that no longer exists. The roots of the hidden self. Your subconscious identity was not born with you. It was built, piece by piece, moment by moment. Every experience that carried emotional charge, joy, shame, rejection, belonging, became a brick in the foundation of who you believe you are. When you were a child, your mind was open, like soft clay. Every word from your parents, every look from your peers, every success and failure, left fingerprints in that clay. And without realizing it, those impressions became truth. A teacher's criticism became, I'm not smart enough. A parent's silence became, I'm not worthy of attention. A heartbreak became, love hurts. Better stay alone. You didn't choose those beliefs. They chose you when you were too young to choose otherwise. The subconscious blueprint. Imagine your mind as a grand mansion. The conscious mind is the lobby, brightly lit, where guests come and go. But beneath it lies an endless network of hidden rooms. The subconscious chambers that store every memory, feeling, and belief you've ever had. Every decision you make is filtered through the architecture of that hidden mansion. If one of the rooms holds fear of rejection, you'll avoid risk. If one holds shame, you'll hide your light. If one holds love and faith, you'll move through life with peace. The blueprint of your destiny isn't written in the stars. It's written in the rooms you've built within. The moment of realization. He remembered walking through an old street in his hometown weeks later. The scent of rain on brick, the echo of children laughing. It all felt strangely familiar. And suddenly, a thought struck him. Everything I'm seeing is filtered through everything I've been. He realized he wasn't just walking through the world. He was walking through his own mind. Every color he noticed, every fear he felt, every interpretation of reality was being translated by his subconscious. The world outside was neutral. The meaning was his creation, the mirror of experience. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you believe you deserve. The subconscious is not moral or mystical, it's mechanical. It mirrors your dominant vibration, your emotional truth. If you believe the world is hostile, you'll find proof of hostility. If you believe you are blessed, the same world will show you grace. Because reality does not bend to your wishes. It bends to your frequency. And your frequency is the sum of your subconscious beliefs. The science of identity. Psychologists call it the self-concept. Neuroscientists call it neural mapping. Mystics call it karma. But they all point to the same law. You cannot behave in a way that contradicts your self-image for long. If you see yourself as unworthy, your subconscious will sabotage success. If you see yourself as powerless, you'll never see choices even when they exist. And if you see yourself as limited, no amount of external change will free you. Because your prison is internal. The only way out is in. The turning point. He started noticing the whispers, not to silence them, but to study them. When doubt appeared, he would ask, "Whose voice is this? Mine, or a ghost from the past?" When fear rose, he would breathe through it and whisper, "Thank you for trying to protect me, but I'm safe now." Each time he did, the whisper grew softer, not because it vanished, but because it was finally heard. And that's when something miraculous began to happen. New thoughts started to surface, like sunlight breaking through fog. Thoughts that said, "Maybe I can. Maybe I'm not broken. Maybe I can build something new." The hidden self, once buried in pain, was slowly awakening into power. The law of inner echoes. What you believe in secret, you live in public. The subconscious is like an echo chamber. What you whisper to it becomes the voice of your reality. Tell it, "I am not enough," and it will sculpt every moment to confirm that. Tell it, "I am becoming," and it will start rearranging your inner world to support that. The mind does not care if your beliefs are true. It only seeks consistency. So if you want to change your life, you must first change what your hidden self believes to be true about you. A new conversation. Each morning, he began speaking aloud to his hidden self. "I forgive you for believing you had to be perfect. I thank you for protecting me when I didn't know how. I choose now to see myself as capable, worthy, and whole." These were not affirmations. They were reconciliations. He wasn't forcing new beliefs. He was rewriting old contracts. And slowly, he began to feel something unfamiliar. Peace. Not because life got easier, but because he was no longer fighting himself. The birth of destiny. Every destiny begins as a belief. Every belief begins as a thought. And every thought, when felt deeply enough, becomes a command to the subconscious. That's why prayer, visualization, and intention all work. They're languages of the hidden self. Once your subconscious accepts a new image, it begins reorganizing your perception, aligning opportunities, and filtering information to make that belief real. It's not magic. It's neuroplasticity, the ability of the brain to rewire itself around what it believes to be true. You are not a prisoner of your programming. You are its author. And the moment you begin to listen to the whispers, instead of silencing them, you start writing a new story. Key takeaways. Your subconscious forms identity through emotionally charged experiences. It does not reason. It records and repeats. Your outer world mirrors your inner beliefs, not your outer desires. Every thought felt with emotion becomes a command to the subconscious. Listening without judgment is the first step toward rewriting inner patterns. Reflection exercise, the Whisper Journal. For the next 7 days, keep a small notebook, your Whisper Journal. Each time you feel fear, hesitation, or self-doubt, pause and write. 1. What emotion just rose within me? 2. What memory or belief might this come from? 3. What truth would I rather believe now? Then rewrite the statement. Example, old belief, people always leave. New truth, I am learning to attract relationships rooted in safety and trust. Read your rewritten truths each morning and night. Let your subconscious hear the new melody. It will learn because it always listens. Chapter 3. The Prison of Belief. Breaking free from invisible walls. The walls were invisible, but he could feel them everywhere. Every time he wanted to speak up in a meeting, silence. Every time he reached for a dream, hesitation. Every time life opened a door, he found a reason not to walk through it. It wasn't fear of failure anymore. It was something subtler. A quiet, relentless voice whispering from the shadows. That's not for you. He didn't know when it began, but he could feel it. This invisible prison built not of stone, but of belief. The silent warden. Beliefs are powerful. They are the architects of reality, unseen yet undeniable. They determine what we attempt, how we interpret, and what we accept. Most of us think we live according to logic, but we don't act on what's true. We act on what we believe to be true. And the cruelest part? Those beliefs often aren't even ours. They are hand-me-downs from childhood, culture, heartbreaks, and authority figures. They become invisible scripts that say, money is hard to earn. Love never lasts. I'm not the kind of person who succeeds. We don't question them, because they whisper in a voice that sounds like our own. The anatomy of a belief. A belief begins as a thought that gets repeated with emotion. Over time, that repetition hardens into identity. Neuroscientists have shown that every time we think a thought, neurons fire together. And when those same neurons fire repeatedly, they wire together. That wiring becomes automatic. A belief, then, is not just a concept. It's a neurological groove etched into the brain. A pattern so well-worn that it becomes the default path for our perception. We stop seeing the world as it is. We start seeing it through the lens of those grooves. The lens of limitation. The story of the caged eagle. He once heard a story that felt painfully familiar. A baby eagle was raised among chickens. It learned to peck the ground, flap awkwardly, and accept crumbs. It saw other eagles soaring above the mountains. But whenever the wind stirred something wild inside it, the other chickens laughed. Don't be foolish. You were never meant to fly. And so it stayed. Not because its wings were broken, but because its belief was. The cage was never metal. It was mental. And so it is with us. Inherited cages. Beliefs are inherited, absorbed, adopted. We inherit them through words that shaped our childhood. We absorb them from the people we admired and the ones who hurt us. We adopt them to make sense of pain. A father's frustration becomes, I'll never be enough. A teacher's dismissal becomes, I'm not smart. A breakup becomes, I'm not lovable. And the mind, desperate for stability, begins to repeat those phrases. Not because they are true, but because they are familiar. The subconscious prefers the known over the unknown, even if the known is painful. The science of the prison. MRI studies show that when a belief is challenged, the brain reacts as if it's under physical attack. The amygdala, the fear center, lights up. The body floods with stress hormones. That's why change feels threatening. Your mind defends your beliefs the same way it defends your life. So when you try to grow beyond a belief like, I can't, your subconscious triggers anxiety to pull you back to safety. But the safety is an illusion. It's the comfort of a cell you've outgrown. The day he saw the bars. It was a Tuesday morning when he realized it. He was journaling, half awake, when the words appeared almost by themselves. I keep asking for freedom, but I'm afraid to leave the cage. He stared at the sentence, breath caught in his throat. The ink was barely dry, but the truth in it felt ancient. He thought about all the times he had self-sabotaged, not because he was weak, but because success would have proven his old story wrong. And the ego fears nothing more than being wrong about its own identity. That moment broke him open. He understood now. Freedom isn't something you walk into. It's something you remember was yours all along. Dismantling the bars. To break free from a belief, you don't need to destroy it. You need to see it. Awareness dissolves illusion. Every belief exists to serve a purpose, even limiting ones. They once protected you from pain, rejection, or risk. They were survival codes. So, instead of attacking them, thank them, then rewrite them. The process looks like this. 1. Observe. Notice when an inner voice says, I can't. Don't argue with it. Just observe. 2. Trace. Ask, when did I first learn this? Follow the feeling back to its source. 3. Reframe. Instead of I can't, say, I couldn't then, but I can learn now. 4. Repeat. Speak the new belief aloud daily with emotion. 5. Act. Take small actions that confirm the new truth. Each time you act differently, You weaken the old neural pathway and strengthen a new one. Belief by belief, the bars begin to dissolve. The prisoner, who became the architect. Weeks later, he wrote a new sentence in that same notebook. My beliefs are not walls, they are blueprints. I can redraw them. That line became his turning point. He began testing it. Each day, he would take one small action his old self would have feared. He spoke up in meetings. He called someone he admired. He submitted his writing to a contest he once thought was too big for him. Every small act of courage sent a new message to his subconscious. We are not who we used to be. And with each step, the cage began to crumble. Not all at once, but piece by piece, belief by belief, breath by breath. The poetic law of liberation. Beliefs are like shadows. They lose power when you face the light. You were never trapped by the world, only by the version of yourself that stopped believing. You were never limited by circumstance, only by the story you told about it. And you don't need to fight those old stories. You only need to tell a truer one. Because truth, once remembered, is stronger than any lie you were taught to live. Key takeaways. Limiting beliefs act as invisible cages that shape behavior and identity. Beliefs are emotional memories stored in the subconscious and reinforced through repetition. Awareness, gratitude, and reframing are tools for rewiring belief patterns. The subconscious resists change because it equates unfamiliarity with danger. Freedom begins when you realize the bars were never real, they were thoughts. Reflection exercise, the belief audit. Take a blank page. Draw 2 columns. The beliefs that bind me and the truths that free me. In the first column, list any recurring phrases you catch yourself thinking. For example, I'm not confident enough. It's too late for me. People like me don't succeed. In the second column, rewrite them consciously. Confidence is built through practice. It's never too late to begin. I am becoming the kind of person who succeeds. Read the second column every morning and every night. Say the words out loud with conviction. You're not just reciting, you're reprogramming. You're teaching your mind to trade its prison for possibility. Chapter 4. Buried Memories, Living Patterns. The past is never dead. It's just quietly repeating itself through us. He never understood why certain situations made his chest tighten, why a single tone of voice could make him retreat inward, or why every relationship eventually carried the same ache wearing a different face. He thought he'd moved on. He thought time had healed what it needed to. But time doesn't heal what we refuse to face. It simply buries it, deep beneath layers of distraction, achievement, and noise. And buried things don't die. They echo. They echo in the choices we make, in the people we chase, in the fears we obey. They live on, not as memories we can recall, but as patterns that live us. The ghosts beneath awareness. Every human being carries a past that hums beneath consciousness. Moments of pain we minimized. Words we swallowed instead of speaking. Losses we labeled as lessons before we ever let ourselves grieve them. The subconscious remembers everything, not as images, but as imprints. It stores the emotional charge of every experience, the sound, the smell, the tension in your breath. When something in the present moment resembles that buried emotion, a tone, a gesture, a rejection, the subconscious flares, whispering, "This is danger." And suddenly, you react, not as the adult you are, but as the child who first felt unsafe. The body remembers what the mind forgets. Science now confirms what ancient mystics always knew. The body is the subconscious mind. Each cell carries emotional memory. Each muscle, a story. The shoulders remember burdens once carried. The stomach remembers every unspoken truth. The heart remembers the time it wasn't enough. When an old memory is repressed, it doesn't disappear. It embeds itself, changing how we stand, breathe, and perceive the world. You can tell a lot about someone's story by how they hold their body. Some shrink to avoid being seen. Some puff up to appear unbreakable. Both are the same language, self-protection. The pattern loop. Unhealed memories become behavioral loops. We keep attracting similar circumstances because the subconscious seeks resolution. It's not trying to punish you. It's trying to complete the story. That's why a person raised in emotional neglect might repeatedly fall for emotionally unavailable partners. It's not coincidence. It's the subconscious replaying the script, hoping for a different ending this time. But until we consciously rewrite the script, we'll keep reliving it. The faces change. The setting changes. The lesson doesn't. The scene of the locked door. He once stood outside his childhood home after decades away. The garden was overgrown, the air heavy with rain. When he tried to open the old front door, the handle stuck, rusted, stiff. For a moment, he laughed at the symbolism of it all. He realized he'd done the same thing with his memories. Locked them away so tightly that even he couldn't open the door anymore. But healing requires returning. Not to live there, but to reclaim what got lost inside. He closed his eyes and imagined walking through each room. The kitchen smelled like burnt toast and Sunday mornings. The living room carried the echo of arguments, words that once felt like thunder. In the silence of memory, he whispered, "I forgive you all. I forgive me too." And something inside him softened, not dramatically, not immediately, but truthfully. That day, he didn't open the physical door, but a deeper one finally gave way. The neuroscience of triggers. Every emotional memory is stored in the amygdala, the brain's emotional archive. When something resembles that old pain, the amygdala signals the body, prepare for threat. It floods us with cortisol, accelerates our pulse, narrows our perception. That's why we overreact to small things. The present becomes hostage to the past. Healing, then, isn't about erasing memory. It's about teaching the body that it's safe now. Every time you breathe through discomfort instead of running. Every time you speak truth instead of suppressing it. You're retraining your nervous system to release the past. You are rewiring safety into your cells. The courage to revisit the shadows. We fear our buried emotions because we think they'll drown us. But emotions don't destroy us. Resistance to them does. The only way to dissolve pain is to feel it fully, without judgment. To sit with the trembling, the grief, the tears that arrive without warning. And to whisper, "It's safe to feel this now." Because what was unbearable then is survivable now. You are no longer that helpless version of yourself. You are the witness, the healer, the narrator rewriting the story. And once you face the shadow, it no longer needs to control the light. The pattern breaker's realization. Weeks into his healing, he noticed something. His relationships began to shift. He was no longer drawn to chaos disguised as passion. He stopped trying to rescue people who didn't want saving. He started listening to his intuition, that quiet compass that had been drowned out for years. He realized healing doesn't just change how you feel. It changes who you choose. And that's the moment the pattern breaks. When your self-worth rises higher than your old wounds. The poetry of release. There's a sacred moment in healing. The one where you stop needing to rewrite the past and start writing from it. The wound doesn't vanish. It transforms into wisdom. The scar becomes a signature of survival. Every buried memory, once healed, becomes a seed of compassion. You no longer flinch at your story. You bow to it. Because you finally understand. What once broke you was never meant to end you. It was meant to open you. Key takeaways. Unhealed emotional memories live on as subconscious patterns that influence behavior and relationships. The body stores emotional pain. Healing involves releasing it through awareness and safe expression. Triggers are opportunities to heal. They reveal what still needs attention. The subconscious repeats unhealed scenarios seeking resolution, not punishment. True healing transforms the wound into wisdom and ends generational repetition. Reflection exercise, mapping the patterns. Take a quiet moment and draw 3 columns on a blank page. 1. Recurring situations. Write the challenges or emotional loops that seem to repeat in your life, e.g., abandonment, rejection, betrayal. 2. Earliest memory. Ask yourself, when did I first feel this way? Write down the first memory that arises, even if it feels small or unclear. 3. The new story. Rewrite what you needed to hear or experience in that moment. Example. Oh, old pattern. People always leave me. Oh, new truth. I am learning to choose those who stay. Read your new story daily. Each time you do, you're teaching your subconscious to choose differently. And every choice born from awareness weakens the old pattern. Until one day, you realize the echoes have gone quiet. Chapter 5. The Mirror Within. How Self-Image Shapes Reality. He stood before the mirror, toothbrush in hand, staring at his own reflection. But he wasn't really seeing himself. He was seeing an echo, a collection of judgments, memories, and labels he had worn for years. In the faint fog of morning light, his eyes looked the same as always. Yet beneath them lived the unspoken story. I'm not enough. I've failed too many times. Someone like me doesn't belong there. The reflection didn't lie. It merely reflected what he believed about himself. And that's when it hit him. Life had never been responding to his dreams. It had been responding to his self-image. The mirror principle. Your outer world is always a mirror of your inner world. Not as punishment, but as precision. What you believe yourself to be worthy of, you unconsciously allow. What you secretly doubt you deserve, you subconsciously sabotage. The universe doesn't hand you what you want. It hands you what you are. The subconscious doesn't differentiate between imagination and reality. It only knows what is emotionally charged and repeatedly affirmed. So if you wake each morning thinking, I'm not confident, the subconscious obediently adjusts your behavior, ensuring your tone, posture, and decisions confirm that belief. The mirror always tells the truth. Not the truth of who you are, but the truth of who you think you are. The birth of self-image. Our self-image forms quietly, constructed from early words, glances, and reactions. A teacher's disappointment becomes, I'm not smart. A parent's absence becomes, I'm not worthy of love. A failed attempt becomes, I'm not capable. Over time, these fragments fuse into identity. And once identity hardens, behavior follows. Psychologists call this the self-fulfilling prophecy. You act in alignment with how you see yourself, and the results you get reinforce that view. It becomes a closed loop. Belief, behavior, result, reinforcement, belief. The cage locks from the inside. The story of the sculptor. There was once a sculptor who spent years crafting a magnificent statue. Every morning, he chipped away a little more marble, revealing the figure hidden within. When asked how he knew what to carve, he said, I see the angel inside the stone, and I carve until I set it free. You are both the sculptor and the stone. Your self-image is not fixed. It is carved daily by your thoughts, choices, and focus. But most people forget they hold the chisel. They let the opinions of others shape their identity. They let failures define their worth. They forget that identity is not what you find, it's what you create. The subconscious camera. The subconscious mind is like a camera, recording every emotionally charged experience as a snapshot of identity. If, as a child, you were praised for pleasing others, the subconscious recorded, I am loved when I disappear for others. If you were criticized for mistakes, it recorded, I am valuable only when perfect. Then, for years, those images become the filters through which you see yourself. You don't see life as it is. You see it through the photograph you once took of yourself. To change your reality, you must change the image you hold in that camera. The science of self-perception. In neuroscience, there's a concept called the self-referential network, a web of brain regions constantly evaluating how experiences relate to you. When you think, I'm a failure, this network activates, scanning your past for evidence to confirm it. It's not trying to harm you. It's trying to keep your self-concept consistent. The brain loves familiarity more than truth. So even when opportunity knocks, if it conflicts with your inner image, your mind will sabotage it to preserve the known identity. That's why people fear success as much as failure. Because success threatens the story of who they've always been. The moment of awakening. He realized this truth one evening while walking home after a long day. He was replaying a conversation, criticizing himself for how he'd spoken, when suddenly, a simple thought interrupted him. What if nothing is wrong with me? What if I've just been looking through a dirty mirror? He stopped mid-step. Cars passed. The city hummed. But for a moment, the noise faded. He understood that his life hadn't been shaped by fate or luck. It had been shaped by the image he had unconsciously worshipped. He had been polishing the mirror of perception with the dust of self-doubt. And for the first time, he wondered, who could I become if I cleaned the reflection? Reclaiming the inner image. Transformation begins with self-perception, not circumstance. Because no amount of external success can compensate for internal rejection. Here's the paradox. You cannot outperform your self-image, but you can upgrade it. 1. Awareness. Notice the stories you tell about yourself, both aloud and silently. Oh, I've always been shy. Oh, I'm terrible with money. Oh, I'm unlucky in love. Each statement is a mirror. Decide if it reflects truth or programming. 2. Reimagination. The subconscious responds best to vivid imagery. Close your eyes and see yourself as you wish to be: confident, capable, peaceful. Make it sensory. Feel the clothes, hear your voice, sense the calm in your body. Do this daily until it feels less like fantasy and more like memory. 3. Embodiment. Take one small action aligned with your new image. Don't wait for belief, act first. The subconscious learns by evidence, not theory. The mirror becomes the window. Over time, he began to notice subtle shifts. He spoke slower, clearer. He stopped apologizing for existing. He carried himself as though he belonged in the room, not out of arrogance, but out of remembrance. Because he finally understood. You don't have to earn worthiness. You only have to remember it. The mirror that once reflected his doubt, now reflected his becoming. And as he changed within, the world began to change around him. Not because the world had transformed, but because his eyes had. The mirror had become a window. Key takeaways. The subconscious self-image determines what you attract, accept, and expect in life. Your behavior always aligns with your identity, not your intention. The subconscious mind mirrors what it believes you to be, not what you wish you were. To change reality, you must change the internal picture the mind holds as you. True transformation is the cleaning of the inner mirror, not the rearranging of outer circumstances. Reflection exercise, the mirror rewrite. Find a mirror. Stand before it in silence. Look into your own eyes, not the surface reflection, but deeper. Ask yourself softly, what story have I been telling myself about who I am? Where did that story come from? Is it still true? Now, speak a new story aloud, not as affirmation, but as declaration. I am learning to see myself clearly. I am enough as I am, and capable of more. I am no longer bound by the image others gave me. Repeat this every morning for 21 days. You'll notice not only how you see yourself changing, but how life begins to mirror that change back to you. Because the world always reflects the eyes that look upon it. Chapter 6. The Voice of Resistance. Understanding the inner saboteur. It often arrives when we least expect it. The night before the big presentation. The week after we finally commit to the gym. The moment we begin to feel joy again. A quiet, cunning whisper. Maybe this isn't the right time. What if you fail again? Who are you to think you can do this? And before we realize it, we've slowed down, postponed, rationalized, and retreated. Dreams become drafts. Promises become someday. We call it laziness or lack of discipline. But beneath those excuses lives something far more intelligent, far more ancient. Resistance. The inner saboteur has a purpose. Most people see resistance as an enemy. But the truth is, resistance is the bodyguard of your old identity. It's not trying to ruin you. It's trying to protect you. Its job is to keep you safe inside the boundaries of what feels familiar. Because to the subconscious, familiar equals survival. The moment you attempt to grow beyond your comfort zone, your subconscious senses danger. It releases waves of fear, doubt, procrastination, not as punishment, but as protection. That's why the closer you get to transformation, the louder the inner saboteur becomes. Growth threatens the self you've been, and that self will fight to live. The evolutionary roots of resistance. In ancient times, safety meant staying with the tribe, following routine, avoiding the unknown. A rustle in the dark could mean death. Curiosity could kill. Predictability meant life. Though the world has evolved, our biology hasn't. The subconscious mind still interprets every step into uncertainty as a potential threat. So when you write that book, launch that business, or express that truth, the subconscious doesn't know you're chasing purpose. It thinks you're wandering away from safety, and it does what it's designed to do: pull you back. The many faces of resistance. Resistance is a master of disguise. It doesn't always look like fear, it often looks like logic. I'll start when I have more time. I should research a bit more before I begin. This idea probably isn't original anyway. These thoughts feel responsible, even wise. But if you look closer, you'll see their true motive: avoidance. Sometimes resistance dresses up as perfectionism, the endless tweaking that prevents you from ever launching. Sometimes it wears the mask of procrastination, the illusion that you're just waiting for inspiration. And sometimes it hides behind distraction, the seductive pull of the phone, the scrolling, the small dopamine hits that keep you comfortably unfulfilled. The inner saboteur doesn't need to defeat you. It only needs to delay you. The psychology of self-sabotage. Self-sabotage is not self-hatred. It's self-preservation gone wrong. When your external goals outgrow your internal identity, the subconscious creates friction to restore balance. It can't allow you to live in contradiction. For example, if you consciously desire success, but subconsciously believe you're not worthy of it, you'll unconsciously behave in ways that ensure you never get it. That's why lasting success isn't about pushing harder. It's about upgrading the identity that's doing the pushing. You don't need more force. You need more alignment. The story of the runner. There was a man training for a marathon. Every morning he woke early, tied his shoes, and ran miles through the city streets. But as race day approached, he began sleeping through alarms. His knees started to ache. His motivation disappeared. He blamed exhaustion, until one morning, sitting on the edge of his bed, he realized he wasn't afraid of failure. He was afraid of becoming the kind of man who finished things. Because that identity was unfamiliar. His past had been filled with half-finished dreams. Completion would rewrite his story, and that terrified his subconscious. That morning, he whispered to himself, "We're safe to change." And he ran, not away from fear, but through it. Not because resistance vanished, but because he stopped mistaking it for truth. The shadow language of fear. The inner saboteur doesn't speak in words, it speaks in feelings. Tight chest, sudden fatigue, a strange urge to clean the kitchen instead of work on your vision. That's not coincidence. That's your subconscious sending signals. This is new. This is unsafe. The trick isn't to silence that voice. It's to interpret it differently. Instead of saying, "I'm scared, so I'll stop," say, "I'm scared because I'm growing." Fear, in that light, becomes proof of progress. It's not a wall, it's a compass, turning resistance into a guide. Resistance doesn't disappear when you evolve. It evolves with you. The greater your purpose, the stronger your resistance. But that's a sign you're walking the right path. The key is to befriend resistance, to recognize its voice without obeying it. When you hear the whispers of doubt, respond with awareness. "I know you're trying to protect me, but I'm ready for more." That sentence alone begins to reprogram the subconscious. You're telling your inner system that safety and expansion can coexist. And once the mind feels safe to grow, growth becomes natural. The alchemy of awareness. Transformation doesn't happen when resistance disappears. It happens when you stop being ruled by it. Awareness turns resistance from enemy to ally. It becomes your early warning system, a sign that you're approaching a threshold worth crossing. The moment you feel fear before doing something meaningful, you can smile and think, I must be heading in the right direction. Every time you walk through resistance, you're teaching your subconscious a new truth. I can feel fear and still move. That's how self-sabotage becomes self-mastery. The warrior within. He learned that mastery wasn't about eliminating resistance, but dancing with it. Each time fear appeared, he greeted it like an old teacher. Each time doubt whispered, he listened but didn't kneel. He realized that courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the refusal to let fear make decisions. And one day, he noticed something miraculous. The same voice that once said, "You can't," had grown quieter, smaller. Not because it stopped existing, but because he had grown louder than it. He no longer needed to fight the inner saboteur. He had outgrown it. Key takeaways. Resistance is the subconscious mind's attempt to keep you safe within the familiar. Self-sabotage is not self-hatred, it's fear of identity death. You can't eliminate resistance, but you can reinterpret it as a sign of growth. Lasting change happens when identity aligns with intention. Mastery is learning to act with fear, not after it disappears. Reflection exercise, dialogue with resistance. Sit somewhere quiet. Close your eyes. Imagine resistance as a voice or figure standing before you. Ask it, "What are you trying to protect me from? What are you afraid will happen if I succeed?" Listen without judgment. Write down the answers that surface. They may surprise you. Then, gently say, "Thank you for trying to protect me, but I'm ready to grow now." Keep this written dialogue nearby. Each time you feel resistance rise again, revisit it. You'll notice the voice softening, the excuses fading, the energy shifting. Because resistance loses its power the moment you stop running from it. It was never the enemy. It was the gatekeeper to your next level. Chapter 7. The Language of the Mind. Rewriting the Inner Script. Words are not just sounds, they are spells. Every sentence you whisper, think, or repeat carries a vibration that reshapes how your subconscious perceives the world. The mind, you see, is always listening, not to logic, but to language. Every "I can't," every "I'm not enough," every "this is just who I am" becomes an instruction, a code written directly into the subconscious. And because the subconscious is obedient by nature, it carries out those commands without question. Your life becomes the story your mind believes you're telling. The hidden power of words. When we speak, we don't describe reality, we create it. Language is the architecture of perception. Tell yourself life is hard, and the brain filters every experience through that lens. Say you're unlucky, and it selectively notices every setback as proof. Describe yourself as shy, broken, or incapable, and your subconscious will shape behavior to match the label. It's not delusion, it's neurolinguistics. Your inner language, the silent dialogue that runs beneath awareness, builds the framework of identity. And identity, in turn, dictates destiny, the script you didn't write. Most of our inner script isn't ours. It's inherited. A parent's tone, a teacher's criticism, a culture's expectation, a heartbreak's echo. Over years, these voices merged into one continuous monologue, the narrator of your life story. And that narrator rarely edits. It repeats what it knows. That's why change often feels impossible, because we're trying to create a new life with the same old vocabulary. The story of the dancer. She had always dreamed of performing, of moving across a stage under golden lights. But each time she auditioned, her body froze. Her breath shortened. Her mind whispered the same words over and over. "You don't belong here." No one had said it aloud. But long ago, her father's silence after her first recital, that one moment of withheld pride, became the sentence that defined her. Years later, standing in front of the mirror of a dance studio, she caught herself saying it again. But this time, she stopped. She looked herself in the eyes and said softly, "I do belong here." The words felt foreign at first, almost dishonest. But she repeated them anyway. And in that repetition, something ancient began to shift. Because every time she spoke those words, her subconscious heard a new command. And slowly, it started to believe. The science of self-talk. The subconscious mind communicates through emotionally charged language. It doesn't understand negation or sarcasm, only imagery and feeling. So when you say, "I don't want to fail," the subconscious hears only fail. When you say, "I'm trying not to be anxious," it registers anxious. The mind doesn't respond to avoidance, it responds to focus. That's why athletes visualize success, not fear. They're training their subconscious to move toward what they want, not away from what they dread. The words you use determine the direction your life energy flows. Your words as code. Think of your subconscious as an advanced computer. Every thought is a line of code. Say, "I'll never be good at this," and the system obeys, closing off possibilities, dimming creativity. Say, "I'm learning to master this," and it opens 1,000 new neural pathways to support that identity. The key is not positive thinking, it's precise programming. Speak to your mind in the language it understands. Emotion, repetition, and imagery. That's how you rewrite the script. Reprogramming the inner narrative. 1. Awareness. Catch the loop. Notice your recurring phrases, especially in moments of stress. The way you speak when tired, frustrated, or afraid reveals your core programming. Write them down. "Oh, I'm terrible under pressure." "Oh, this always happens to me." "Oh, I don't have what it takes." 2. Interruption. Pause the pattern. The moment you catch an old phrase, say out loud, "Cancel that." It may sound silly, but interruption weakens neural connections that keep patterns alive. 3. Replacement. Rewrite the code. Replace each limiting line with one that's believable yet empowering. "Oh, I'm terrible under pressure. I perform calmly and clearly when it matters most." "Oh, this always happens to me. I'm creating a new outcome this time." "Oh, I don't have what it takes. I'm learning what it takes." 4. Repetition. Reinforce the truth. The subconscious learns through rhythm. Repeat your new script daily, out loud, with emotion. You're not lying to yourself, you're teaching yourself. The voice that listens. One evening, as he wrote in his journal, he realized something profound. He had been speaking to himself in a way he'd never speak to someone he loved. Every mistake was an insult. Every hesitation, a humiliation. Every failure, a sentence. He closed his eyes, exhaled, and whispered, "I'm sorry I've spoken to you this way." And for the first time in years, he felt something gentle move inside him. A quiet forgiveness from the part of him that had only ever wanted kindness. That night, he wrote a single promise. "From now on, I'll speak to myself like someone worth listening to." It wasn't a grand declaration, but it was the beginning of freedom. Because healing often begins not with a roar, but with a whisper that says, "I choose different words." The linguistics of empowerment. Empowered people don't necessarily have easier lives. They have different internal vocabularies. They say, "I'm learning" instead of "I'm failing." "I get to" instead of "I have to." "This challenge is growing me" instead of "this is too hard." These aren't semantics. They're shifts in neurological framing. Each phrase directs your brain toward possibility instead of paralysis. Language reshapes perception. Perception shapes behavior. Behavior shapes destiny. The inner poet. When you master the language of your mind, you become both author and character of your story. Every thought becomes a brushstroke on the canvas of your becoming. Every word becomes a seed of your next reality. So speak beautifully. Not perfectly, beautifully. Because the words you use today are the architecture of the life you'll live tomorrow. Key takeaways. The subconscious obeys language. It takes your self-talk as literal instruction. Most inner scripts are inherited. Awareness is the first step to rewriting them. The mind doesn't understand negation. Focus on what you want, not what you fear. Repetition, emotion, and imagery are the tools for subconscious reprogramming. Changing your words changes your identity, and identity changes everything. Reflection exercise, the script rewrite. Take 10 minutes in silence. Write down 10 phrases you often say about yourself. The ones that begin with "I am," "I can't," or "I always." Now, cross out each one that limits you. Beside it, write a new sentence that expands you. Example: old, "I am terrible with people." New, "I'm learning to connect with ease and authenticity." Read your new script every morning for 30 days. Say it with emotion, as though you already believe it. You'll begin to feel your thoughts, posture, and choices aligning with the new language. Because when you change your words, you don't just rewrite your story, you rewrite your subconscious. And the world, obedient as ever, will follow the new script you've given it. Chapter 8. The Frequency of Emotion. How Feeling Shapes Reality. Long before thought becomes form, it first becomes feeling. Emotion is the electric current of creation, the frequency that powers the invisible machinery of the subconscious mind. If words are the language of thought, emotions are the language of energy. You don't attract what you think about once in a while. You attract what you feel about all the time. Your subconscious listens not to your words, but to the vibration beneath them. That's why you can recite affirmations 100 times and see nothing change. Because if your emotion contradicts your words, the subconscious obeys the emotion. The storm inside. It began on a rainy morning. A man sat in his car, gripping the steering wheel, his chest tight with frustration. He had just left another job interview, another polite rejection, another silent confirmation of his fear. "I'm not enough." He turned on the radio, but every song felt like an echo of that same emotion, disappointment. He muttered to himself, "Nothing ever works out." The words weren't magic, but the emotion beneath them was. Hopelessness, resentment, self-pity, each one a signal, sent straight to the subconscious. "This is my state of being. Keep recreating it." And so, without malice or mistake, the subconscious did what it was trained to do. It kept aligning his outer world with his inner frequency. Emotion as energy. Every emotion you feel has a measurable frequency. Gratitude, love, joy, they vibrate at higher levels, expanding perception and possibility. Fear, shame, guilt, they contract it, narrowing awareness and dimming potential. Neuroscience has shown that emotions change the chemistry of your body. Gratitude increases dopamine and serotonin, the brain's happiness molecules. Fear and anger flood the body with cortisol and adrenaline, the chemistry of survival. But beyond biochemistry, emotion is a magnetic signal. It communicates to your subconscious what to focus on, what to expect, and what to recreate. Emotion tells the subconscious, "This is what's real for me." And the subconscious, ever faithful, makes sure reality follows suit. The law of emotional resonance. Imagine your mind as a tuning fork. Whatever frequency you vibrate at, consciously or subconsciously, you draw experiences that match that vibration. If you live in fear, you resonate with circumstances that confirm fear. If you cultivate gratitude, you resonate with experiences that amplify abundance. It's not superstition, it's resonance. Your subconscious doesn't judge emotion as good or bad. It simply matches what it receives. It aligns with your dominant emotional tone. That's why emotional mastery isn't suppression, it's awareness. It's learning to consciously shift the energy you emit before it shapes the world around you. The story of the painter. She was a painter known for her moody, melancholic art. Each canvas was a reflection of her turmoil, heartbreak, loneliness, grief. Her work sold well, but she often said, "It feels like my art is painting me." One day, a mentor asked her, "What if you painted from joy instead of pain?" She laughed. "Joy? I wouldn't even know where to start." But that question lingered. Weeks later, she tried. The first brushstroke felt awkward, almost dishonest. But as she painted, a strange thing happened. She began to feel lighter. Her art changed, yes, but so did her life. Her circle of friends shifted. New opportunities appeared. Even her health began to improve. Why? Because by choosing a new emotional frequency, she was no longer painting from her pain. She was painting beyond it. Her subconscious responded not to her talent, but to her tone. Emotion as a compass. Your emotions are not enemies. They are messengers. They reveal your vibrational alignment. Joy means alignment. Fear means separation. Resentment means resistance. Gratitude means flow. When you feel off, it isn't punishment, it's feedback. It's your subconscious saying, "You're focusing on what you don't want again." You can't control every emotion that arises, but you can choose which emotions you dwell in. And what you dwell in, you develop. Reconditioning the emotional body. Most people live as emotional reactors, not creators. They wait for life to give them something good before they feel good, not realizing that life is waiting for them to feel good before it gives them something better. To reprogram your subconscious, you must learn to generate emotion deliberately, to feel ahead of the evidence. When you close your eyes and truly feel gratitude, even before the blessing arrives, your subconscious begins to act as if it's already real. Your nervous system relaxes. Your creativity expands. Your vibration changes. You stop chasing outcomes and start attracting them. The science of emotional conditioning. Psychologist Dr. Joe Dispenza explains it this way. Your brain and body don't know the difference between an actual event and a vividly imagined one, as long as the emotion feels real. When you imagine success and feel the pride, gratitude, and joy of it now, you create neural pathways identical to those formed by real achievement. Your subconscious begins preparing your physiology, habits, and intuition to match that imagined state. This is why emotional rehearsal is so powerful. You're not pretending, you're preparing. Healing through feeling. You cannot transcend what you refuse to feel. Most people suppress emotion, thinking it makes them strong. But suppression doesn't dissolve emotion, it stores it. In muscles, in memory, in identity. Healing happens when you allow emotion to move through you, instead of crystallizing inside you. When you feel your anger fully, without judgment, it loses its grip. When you allow grief to speak, it stops screaming. When you make space for pain, it turns into wisdom. Your subconscious doesn't need perfection, it needs permission. Emotional alchemy. Every emotion carries energy, and energy can be transformed. Fear can become focus. Anger can become drive. Sadness can become depth. Guilt can become growth. Emotional alchemy is the art of using emotion as fuel rather than weight. You don't deny the feeling, you redirect it. Ask yourself in moments of turbulence, what is this emotion trying to show me about what I still believe? The answer will often lead you straight to a subconscious pattern waiting to be healed. The heart as the command center. Modern research in neurocardiology reveals that the heart has its own neural network, a heart brain that communicates directly with the subconscious and the emotional centers of the body. When the heart and brain are coherent, meaning their rhythms are synchronized, You enter a state of harmony that amplifies creativity, intuition, and manifestation. This is why gratitude, compassion, and love are so powerful. They bring coherence between heart and mind. They create a frequency of wholeness that tells your subconscious, "We are safe. We are abundant. We are ready." Choosing the frequency. Every morning, you wake with a choice: to relive the emotions of yesterday, or to broadcast a new frequency today. You can't fake high vibration, but you can cultivate it. Start small. Feel genuine gratitude for one breath, for one person, for one possibility, and then expand it. Emotion grows with attention. You'll notice your mood shifting, your language softening, your encounters transforming. Because the moment you change the way you feel, the world begins to change what it reveals. Key takeaways. Emotion is the energetic language of the subconscious mind. Your subconscious obeys your dominant emotional state, not your fleeting thoughts. High-frequency emotions, love, gratitude, joy, expand awareness and attract aligned experiences. Emotional healing requires feeling, not suppressing. You can deliberately generate empowering emotions through focus, breath, and gratitude. Reflection exercise, the frequency reset. 1. Identify your baseline emotion. For one day, observe your emotional tone. Are you mostly anxious, hopeful, frustrated, inspired? 2. Name the emotion without judgment. Label it gently. This is worry. This is peace. Naming brings awareness. Awareness brings choice. 3. Shift the frequency. Take 3 deep breaths and recall a moment of genuine gratitude. Something simple and real. Feel it fully for 90 seconds. Notice how your body changes. 4. Repeat this practice daily. Each repetition reconditions your emotional baseline, teaching your subconscious that safety, joy, and abundance are your natural states. You are not at the mercy of your emotions. You are their composer, and when you learn to conduct them with awareness, your life begins to play in harmony with your highest potential. Because the universe, like the subconscious, doesn't speak in words. It speaks in feeling. And whatever you feel deeply enough, you will live. Chapter 9. The Rewriting of Fate. Creating a new internal story. Fate is not a script written in the stars. It is a story written in the subconscious. It lives in the quiet patterns we replay, the expectations we carry, the limits we never question. It is not the hand of destiny that confines us. It is the narrative we believe about who we are and what we deserve. To rewrite your fate, you do not fight the world. You edit the story inside you that keeps recreating it. The story we don't know we're living. Every life runs on a story. Most of us just never realize we're its author. You might say, "I'm not good with love," or "I've always been unlucky." Not as a complaint, but as a statement of truth, unaware that you are speaking lines from a script written long ago. The subconscious doesn't argue with that story. It simply says, "Understood," and then it sets out to make every scene of your life match the narrative. Your beliefs are not just ideas. They are stage directions. And your reality, obedient as ever, follows them word for word. The night of the rain. He sat by the window, rain sliding down the glass, replaying the same scene in his mind. The moment years ago when he had failed in front of everyone he admired. It had become his private mythology. The day I learned I'm not enough. Every decision since then had been around that moment. Every risk avoided, every chance refused, every opportunity missed, all justified by that old script. He believed he was protecting himself from failure. But in truth, he was protecting the story that defined him. Because the human mind will do almost anything to stay consistent with its story, even if that story is destroying it. How the subconscious writes stories. The subconscious builds your life story from 3 primary sources. 1. Emotional experiences. Moments charged with strong emotion become encoded as truth. If you felt humiliation at age 7, your subconscious might conclude, it's safer not to be seen. 2. Repetition. What you hear repeatedly becomes familiar, and the mind equates familiarity with truth. You're so difficult. You're too sensitive. You'll never make it. These phrases, repeated over years, form invisible chapters in your identity. 3. Association. The mind links experiences together. If success once led to betrayal, the subconscious learns success equals pain. So it begins to subtly sabotage progress to keep you safe. Every limiting story is born from one of these three, and every new chapter begins when you question their authorship. The mirror test. Pause for a moment. Imagine standing before a mirror, not a physical one, but a psychological one. Behind your reflection are faint words, etched into the glass. I'm not enough. I always ruin things. Good things don't last. I don't deserve more. You don't say them aloud, but you live them, through hesitation, through apology, through settling for less. Rewriting your fate begins when you finally read those words and decide they are no longer yours. Editing the narrative. Rewriting the subconscious story is not about pretending. It's about reframing. Every old belief once served a purpose, usually protection. The child who learned to stay quiet was trying to stay safe. The teenager who stopped trusting was trying to stop hurting. The adult who stopped dreaming was trying to stop failing. But what protected you once is now what confines you. To evolve, you must thank the old story for keeping you alive, and then gently release it for keeping you small. The story of the architect. There was once an architect who built every house from the same blueprint. The design was safe, sturdy, proven, familiar. But one day, he looked around the neighborhood and realized that every home looked exactly the same. His own life felt the same, too. Predictable, colorless, contained. He sat at his drafting table, staring at the blank paper, afraid to draw something new, until a thought came. What if the blueprint was never the limit, only the beginning? That night, he tore the old designs in half and began sketching again. Each line felt like rebellion, each stroke like freedom. He wasn't building a house anymore. He was rebuilding himself. That's what rewriting fate feels like. Not changing who you are, remembering you were the one holding the pencil all along. The science of narrative identity. Psychologists call it narrative identity, the internalized story that gives meaning to your experiences. It explains not just what happened to you, but what you believe it means. And meaning is everything. Two people can experience the same event. One sees it as failure, the other as foundation. The difference isn't the experience, it's the interpretation. The subconscious uses emotional meaning as its programming language. So when you change the meaning of a memory, you literally change the neural pattern attached to it. You can't delete the past, but you can change the story it tells. Reframing the past. 1. Identify the core memory. Think of a painful event that still shapes how you see yourself. 2. Ask, what did I decide about myself in that moment? The subconscious always forms a conclusion, usually one that limits you. 3. Reframe the meaning. Instead of that moment proved I was weak, say, that moment showed me what strength I would one day build. 4. Integrate the lesson. Write down what the event taught you that you now use to grow or guide others. This transforms trauma into wisdom and victimhood into authorship. The inner editor. Rewriting fate isn't a single moment. It's a daily act of editing. Every time you catch yourself saying, "This always happens to me," you can pause and rewrite. "This used to happen to me. Now I'm writing a new chapter." Each small rewrite is a neural rewrite, a signal to the subconscious that the old program is obsolete. Over time, your actions begin to reflect the new narrative. Your posture changes, your tone shifts, your world rearranges, and one morning, you'll wake up and realize the story you're living finally matches the one you've been writing. From victim to author, there's a moment, quiet but irreversible, when you stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "What now?" That's the moment you step from victimhood into authorship. It's the point where you stop being the character life happens to and start being the one who shapes the plot. Because destiny is not written by fate, it's written by focus. Whatever story you rehearse, most often becomes the world you walk through. The power of declaration. Every great transformation begins with a declaration, not a wish, a decision. Say it out loud. I am no longer the person who lives that old story. You don't need to know what the new chapter looks like yet. You just need to declare that the last one has ended. The universe, the subconscious, and every unseen force of alignment will begin shifting the plot accordingly. Because once you decide who you are no longer willing to be, life starts making room for who you're becoming. Key takeaways. Your subconscious story, not fate, determines how your life unfolds. Every belief you hold was created to protect you. It can now evolve to empower you. Reframing the meaning of past events changes the subconscious program attached to them. You can't delete old memories, but you can rewrite their narrative impact. Authorship begins the moment you stop identifying as the victim and start editing the story. Reflection exercise, the story rewrite. 1. Identify your old story. Write one sentence that summarizes the story you've been living. Example, I always end up alone. 2. Find the origin. Ask yourself, when did I first start believing this? Trace it back to a moment, voice, or emotion. 3. Reframe the meaning. Ask, what else could that experience mean? What strength did it give me? 4. Write the new story. Replace your old line with one that reflects your evolution. Example, I am learning to build connections from authenticity, not fear. 5. Speak it daily. Repeat your new story each morning until it feels natural. Remember, belief is built through repetition. Your past is not your prison. It is your prologue. Every pain you've endured, every fear you've faced, every ending you've survived. They were not signs of fate, but setups for authorship. You are not a character written by circumstance. You are the storyteller. And with every thought, every word, every brave new sentence, you are rewriting your fate. Chapter 10. The Awakening Alignment. When consciousness and power unite. There comes a moment in every inner journey when the war between thought and feeling, logic and intuition, finally begins to quiet. The noise of striving softens. The need to control begins to dissolve. And in its place, a profound harmony emerges. A state where the conscious and subconscious mind stop competing and start collaborating. That moment is the awakening alignment. The sacred union of awareness and energy, of direction and faith. It is not achieved through struggle. It is allowed through surrender. This is the place where peace and power meet. The river and the boat. Imagine your consciousness as a boat on a vast river. Your conscious mind steers, analyzing, deciding, planning the course. But beneath you flows the river, your subconscious, vast, deep, and infinitely powerful. Most people row furiously against the current, trying to reach their goals through effort and control. They mistake exhaustion for progress. They fight the river instead of understanding its flow. But alignment is when you stop paddling against the current and instead learn to steer with it. The river was never your enemy. It was always waiting for you to trust its direction. The two forces within. The conscious mind is the captain. It chooses the destination. The subconscious is the engine. It provides the power. When they work in harmony, life moves with effortless momentum. But when they're in conflict, you experience resistance, emotional turbulence, self-sabotage, confusion. Think of it this way. If your conscious mind says, I want abundance, but your subconscious still believes, I'm unworthy, you've just issued two opposing commands to the same ship. No matter how much effort you apply on the surface, the deeper current will win. Always. That's why alignment is not about doing more. It's about resolving the conflict within. The story of the healer. She was known for her calm wisdom, yet inside, she carried a quiet tension. She would teach others about trust and flow, but when she was alone, her mind would spiral into control. One evening, sitting by the ocean, she noticed how the waves rose and fell without effort, perfectly timed, endlessly patient. And a thought came to her. What if life is not asking me to control it, but to match its rhythm? That night, she stopped trying to fix her fears. She simply listened to them. She realized her conscious mind was trying to heal through force, while her subconscious was asking to heal through gentleness. From that moment, her entire energy changed. Her voice softened. Her intuition sharpened. Her outer life began to move in synchrony with her inner calm. Because when the conscious mind learns to lead with love, and the subconscious learns to trust that leadership, alignment is inevitable. The science of inner harmony. Neuroscience shows that the conscious and subconscious communicate through coherence. When your thoughts, conscious, and emotions, subconscious, send the same signal, your brain waves synchronize with your heart's electromagnetic field. This state, known as heart-brain coherence, increases intuition, creativity, and clarity. You literally become more intelligent, more inspired, and more magnetic. It's not magic, it's physics. The energy of coherence allows the body and mind to function as a single intelligent system. That's why meditation, gratitude, and breathwork feel so powerful. They synchronize your inner worlds. They dissolve contradiction and replace it with coherence. The dialogue of alignment. Alignment begins with communication. The conscious mind must learn to speak the language of the subconscious, not through force, but through feeling. Here's how they harmonize. The conscious sets the intention, the vision, the desire, the goal. The subconscious provides the energy, the emotions, intuition, and actions to realize it. When you visualize a dream vividly and feel genuine emotion about it, you are merging both languages, mental imagery and emotional frequency. That fusion sends a unified message to the universe. This is who I am now. And reality rearranges itself to confirm that truth. Letting go of internal resistance. Alignment doesn't mean you'll never feel doubt or fear again. It means you'll stop resisting them. Resistance is born when your conscious mind says, I shouldn't feel this way, while your subconscious whispers, but I already do. Healing happens when you allow both to be true. Say to yourself, I see my fear. I understand it, but I choose not to live by it anymore. In that moment, consciousness and compassion merge. The subconscious relaxes because it feels heard, and when it feels safe, it follows your lead. The triangle of alignment. True harmony arises from three forces. 1. Awareness, seeing your thoughts and emotions without judgment. 2. Acceptance, allowing them to exist without suppression. 3. Intention, directing your energy toward your chosen state. Awareness opens the door. Acceptance dissolves resistance. Intention reprograms direction. This is not passive spirituality, it's deliberate evolution. It's learning to guide your inner world with the precision of a conscious creator. The shift from control to creation. For most of life, we're taught to control everything. Outcomes, people, timing. But control is rooted in fear. It assumes life won't cooperate unless we force it to. Creation, however, is rooted in trust. It recognizes that life is already moving in harmony with you. When your inner frequency matches what you desire, the paradox of alignment is that the moment you stop forcing reality, it starts flowing toward you. Because the subconscious, once freed from the tension of control, naturally gravitates toward peace, growth, and abundance. Its original design, the practice of alignment. Here's how to cultivate conscious, subconscious harmony each day. 1. Morning intention, conscious mind. Before checking your phone or engage in the world, place a hand on your heart and set one intention for how you want to feel today, not what you want to do. Example, today I choose peace. The conscious mind sets direction. 2. Midday check-in, subconscious dialogue. Pause for 1 minute during your day. Ask yourself softly, what emotion am I living right now? If it's misaligned with your intention, take a deep breath and realign. 3. Evening integration, harmony ritual. Before sleep, thank your subconscious for how it protected and guided you today. Visualize your intention fulfilled and feel gratitude as if it already exists. The subconscious absorbs that feeling during rest, rewriting your inner code overnight. The story of the musician. There was a musician who could never finish a song. He would start with inspiration, then overthink every note, criticize every line, until the melody that once felt divine now felt like noise. One day, a mentor told him, "You keep trying to write from your head, but music doesn't come from thought. It comes from flow. Let your heart compose, and let your mind arrange." That night, he stopped thinking and started feeling. He played not to impress, but to express. And the music, pure, effortless, transcendent, finally poured through him. That is what alignment feels like. When the conscious mind becomes the architect, and the subconscious becomes the artist. Together, they create symphonies of reality. The silence between thoughts. In deep meditation, there's a space between thought and breath, a stillness that feels infinite. That space is alignment in its purest form. It's where the conscious mind stops grasping and the subconscious stops reacting. What remains is awareness itself, vast, luminous, at peace. From that state, creation flows effortlessly. Ideas arise without strain. Synchronicities appear like gentle confirmations from the universe. You're no longer forcing your life into shape. You're allowing it to unfold as an extension of your inner coherence. Key takeaways. The conscious mind chooses direction. The subconscious provides momentum. When thoughts and emotions send the same signal, you enter heart-brain coherence, the state of true alignment. Alignment is not control. It's trust in your inner and outer flow. Awareness, acceptance, and intention are the three pillars of harmony. When consciousness and subconscious unite, peace and manifestation become effortless. Reflection exercise, the alignment practice. 1. Identify inner conflict. Write down one area of your life where you feel resistance, where what you want and what you experience don't match. 2. Listen to both voices. Ask, what is my conscious mind saying about this? Then ask, what is my subconscious feeling about it? Don't judge, just listen. 3. Bridge the gap. Create one bridging statement that unites them. Example, oh conscious, I want to be financially free. Oh subconscious, I'm afraid I'll fail again. Oh bridge, I can learn to create abundance safely and sustainably. 4. Meditate on this sentence for 21 days. Feel it, breathe it, live it. Watch how your outer world begins to align with the truth you've finally united within. When consciousness and power unite, you stop chasing life, and life starts moving toward you. You become a vessel through which creation flows, a harmony of mind and soul, a living reminder that peace is not the absence of desire, but the alignment of desire and belief. This is awakening, not escape from the world, but reunion with the self who finally trusts it. Chapter 11. The Art of Inner Creation. Living in flow with your chosen reality. There is a sacred moment in every awakened life when you stop asking, what should I do? And begin asking, who am I becoming? It's the moment you realize that reality is not something happening to you. It's something happening through you. Your thoughts are the architects. Your emotions are the builders. And your subconscious mind is the silent engineer bringing every design into form. This is the art of inner creation, the realization that life is not about reacting to what is, but consciously sculpting what will be. Through the symphony of imagination, vibration, and emotional alignment. The painter and the canvas. Picture a painter standing before a blank canvas. To an untrained eye, the white space may look empty, but to the artist, it's already alive with potential. He can see the masterpiece before a single stroke touches the surface. He doesn't wait for inspiration to appear. He creates the emotion that will call it forth. The brush does not move until the feeling arrives. Because he knows, the emotion is the art. Your life works the same way. You are both the painter and the paint. The one imagining the image and the one becoming it. Every thought you think adds a brushstroke. Every emotion you sustain adds depth and color. And every belief defines the frame through which your creation will be seen. Most people paint unconsciously, repeating the same shades of worry, fear, and doubt, wondering why the picture never changes. But the awakened creator learns to paint deliberately, to imagine beauty, feel its presence, and embody its truth before it appears on the canvas of life. That is creation in its purest form. The blueprint of energy. Everything in the universe, from galaxies to heartbeats, vibrates. Energy is the universal language, and emotion is its dialect. The subconscious does not understand words, it understands frequency. It listens not to what you say, but to what you feel. So when your conscious mind says, I am abundant, but your emotional field vibrates scarcity, your subconscious obeys the feeling, not the statement. This is why vibration precedes manifestation. Before something becomes physical, it exists as an emotional signature, a pattern of energy that magnetizes the corresponding experiences. In simple terms, you don't attract what you want. You attract what you are becoming. Your dominant emotional frequency is the tuning fork of your reality. The scientist of the soul. Neuroscience has long confirmed what mystics have always known. Your brain does not distinguish between imagination and reality. When you vividly imagine something, with sensory detail, emotion, and presence, Your brain fires the same neural pathways as if you were living that experience in real time. This means your body and subconscious are constantly responding to your inner movies. The more vividly and emotionally you imagine your chosen reality, the faster your subconscious rewires itself to align with that story. So creation begins not in the external world, but in the quiet rehearsal rooms of your inner theater. The story of the architect. There was an architect who spent years designing skyscrapers for others. But her own life felt small, predictable, confined, uninspired. One night, as she stared at the blueprints on her desk, she thought, "What if I've been designing buildings when I was meant to design my reality?" So she began sketching a new blueprint, not on paper, but in her mind. Every morning, she visualized the life she desired. A studio filled with light, creative projects that stirred her soul, a love that felt like home. At first, nothing seemed to change, but something was happening beneath the surface. Her energy began to shift. Her posture changed. Her words carried new conviction. And within months, opportunities began to mirror the design she had drawn inside. The universe responded not to her wish, but to her frequency of certainty. That's how inner creation works. The moment you align imagination with emotion, the blueprint begins building itself. The power of emotional design. Emotions are not byproducts. They are instruments of creation. They are the colors with which you paint your world. When you consciously choose your emotional state, gratitude, joy, peace, certainty, you are designing reality from the inside out. Think of emotion as a broadcast signal. Whatever frequency you emit, the universe echoes back. So if you want to experience more love, you must become the emotional embodiment of love first. If you seek abundance, you must radiate the vibration of abundance before it arrives. The paradox is simple. You must feel it before you can see it. Because feeling is the signal, seeing is the reflection. Living in flow. Flow is the art of moving with life, not against it. It's the state where your conscious intention and subconscious rhythm are synchronized. You felt it before. When time disappeared during creativity. When effort became effortless. When clarity felt like instinct. In flow, you are not trying to create. You are creation. You have stepped out of control and into communion. This is the state every artist, athlete, mystic, and visionary touches when they transcend thought and merge with purpose. It's not a mystical accident. It's the natural consequence of alignment. Flow happens when your energy, emotion, and imagination are coherent. When your inner frequency matches the frequency of your dream. The formula of inner creation. Let's simplify the process. 1. Imagination, vision. See it vividly. Let your mind build the image in detail. The colors, sounds, textures, emotions. Don't just think it. Feel yourself inside it. 2. Emotion, vibration. Feel as if it already exists. Let gratitude, excitement, and peace anchor that reality into your body. 3. Repetition, integration. Return to the vision daily until it becomes familiar, until your subconscious begins to accept it as truth. 4. Action, expression. Take aligned steps that reflect your inner belief. Act from the state of the person who already is. When these 4 forces work together, the boundary between imagination and reality dissolves. You no longer manifest. You express what already exists within. The illusion of waiting. Many people spend their lives waiting for permission, for the right timing, the right sign, the right opportunity. But waiting is often disguised disbelief. It says, "I'll believe it when I see it." The Creator says, "I'll see it because I believe it." The world doesn't move when you're ready. It moves when you're aligned. Your imagination is not a daydream. It's a divine instrument. When you use it deliberately, you are bending probability toward purpose. The story of the dancer. There was a dancer who lost her rhythm after a career-ending injury. For months, she couldn't move without pain. But one night, she closed her eyes and began to imagine herself dancing again. She didn't just see it, she felt it. She imagined the warmth of stage lights, the pulse of music, the grace in her limbs. Night after night, she lived in that reality until her body began to remember it. Slowly, movement returned. First a step, then a turn, then a full sequence. The doctors called it recovery. She called it remembrance. Because creation is not always about bringing something new into being. Sometimes, it's about remembering what already exists within you. living as the creator. To live as a conscious creator means to stop seeking and start shaping. It means you no longer ask life for proof. You give life a direction. The universe doesn't reward need. It responds to identity. So if you want something different, you must become someone new. Not tomorrow, but now. Through thought, through feeling, through presence. You don't wait for miracles, you align with them. You don't chase destiny, you design it. And once you master the inner art of creation, your outer world becomes nothing more than a mirror reflecting your chosen vibration. Key takeaways. You are both the artist and the art, the creator and the creation. The subconscious responds not to words, but to emotional frequency. Imagination is the blueprint. Emotion is the energy that builds it. The key to manifestation is to feel it before you see it. Flow occurs when intention, emotion, and energy move as one. Reflection exercise, the creation ritual. 1. Morning visualization. Sit in stillness for 5 minutes. Visualize your ideal day, not in the future, but as if it's happening now. Feel gratitude for each moment as though it already exists. 2. Emotional anchoring. Choose one word that defines the energy of your desired reality, e.g., freedom, peace, love, power. Throughout the day, breathe that word into your body whenever you feel off course. 3. Evening alignment. Before sleep, replay your day in your mind, but this time, imagine it unfolding in perfect alignment with your vision. Let that be the movie your subconscious watches overnight. When you live as the conscious artist of your experience, you realize creation is not something you do, it's something you allow. Every thought is a brushstroke, every feeling, a color, every choice, a frame in the film of your becoming. And when your imagination, vibration, and emotion dance in harmony, you are no longer dreaming of your reality. You are living the dream itself. Chapter 12. The Infinite Within. Becoming the conscious creator of your life. There is a silence that comes after transformation. It is not emptiness, it is spaciousness. A stillness vast enough to contain all that you have become. You stand now at the edge of who you once were and who you are yet to be. And in this quiet threshold, the truth reveals itself. You were never searching for power. You were remembering that it was yours all along. The conscious and subconscious have merged. The war within has ended. And in its place stands something luminous, peaceful, and unbreakable. The Awaken Creator. The Infinite Self. The ocean and the wave. Imagine the ocean. Every wave that rises seems separate, fierce, distinct, alive with motion. But when it returns to the sea, it remembers, I was never apart. You are the same. Your conscious identity, your name, your roles, your ambitions, is the wave. But your infinite awareness, the timeless intelligence flowing through all things, is the ocean. For years, you've lived as the wave, chasing tides, fearing storms, forgetting that you are the very water you rise from. When you awaken to the infinite within, you stop fighting for control and start flowing with creation itself. You realize that everything you've ever desired already lives in the vastness of who you are. The awakening moment. Every awakening begins as a quiet rebellion, a refusal to keep living unconsciously, a whisper that says, there must be more than this. And then, slowly, painfully, beautifully, the layers begin to fall away. Fear, limitation, the illusion of separation. You begin to see that your mind was never your master, it was your instrument. Your subconscious was never your enemy, it was your guardian. And life was never against you, it was always your mirror, showing you where you had forgotten your power. The awakening is not the discovery of something new, it is the remembrance of something eternal. The story of the monk and the mirror. A young monk once asked his master, how do I find enlightenment? The master smiled and handed him a mirror. Look, he said, and when you no longer see your reflection, only light, you will know. The monk spent years meditating, fasting, and studying. But every time he looked into the mirror, all he saw was his face, weary, flawed, human. One morning, after another night of restless striving, he sighed and whispered, I'm done searching. He set the mirror down and closed his eyes. He stopped trying to see and started simply being. And in that stillness, something shifted. When he finally opened his eyes, the reflection in the mirror wasn't just his face, it was everything. The sky, the trees, the breath moving through him. He didn't disappear. He simply expanded. That is what it means to awaken, to realize that you are not just the reflection, but the light that makes the reflection possible. The science of limitlessness. Quantum physics now echoes what ancient mystics taught centuries ago. Consciousness is not contained within the brain. It is the field in which the brain exists. Your thoughts don't just arise from neurons. They ripple through the quantum field of possibility, shaping probability through focus and emotion. Every intention you set, every vision you hold, is not a wish sent to the universe. It is the universe expressing itself through you. When you align with that truth, you stop asking for miracles and start realizing you are the medium through which miracles occur. You are not a fragment of creation. You are creation, becoming aware of itself. From manifester to creator, there's a subtle but sacred difference between manifesting and creating. Manifesting often comes from desire, the need to get something outside yourself. But creating arises from wholeness, the joy of expressing what already exists within. Manifestation says, I want. Creation says, I am. When you move from wanting to being, you step into pure power, the ability to shape reality not from lack, but from overflow. You stop chasing what you need and begin magnetizing what matches your energy. You realize you don't need to force alignment anymore. You are alignment. The story of the phoenix. There's an ancient legend that the phoenix doesn't rise because it wants to be reborn. It rises because it remembers what it is. The fire that consumes it is not punishment, it's purification. Every time it burns, it returns to its essence. Light, heat, energy, life. So too have you burned through the illusions of your old self. You've faced the inner wars, dismantled beliefs, rewritten stories, and awakened truth. And now, from the ashes, rises something radiant. A being no longer bound by circumstance, but guided by consciousness. You are the phoenix, and your wings were forged in every flame you survived. Living as infinite awareness. When you live from the infinite within, the world changes. Not because it becomes easier, but because you see it differently. You begin to move with compassion instead of judgment. You speak with clarity instead of fear. You love without expectation, because you finally understand that nothing real can ever be lost. You stop reacting to life and begin creating through presence. You understand that each moment, even the painful ones, is a brushstroke in your masterpiece. You see the divine choreography in every coincidence, the lesson in every delay, the grace in every goodbye, and you live not as a seeker of light, but as the light itself, the embodied creator. To become the conscious creator of your life is to live with deliberate presence. It means your awareness becomes your compass, not your past, not your fears, not your habits. You choose your thoughts as an artist chooses colors. You direct your emotions as a conductor leads an orchestra, and you allow life to express itself through you, knowing that nothing you create can ever be truly separate from you. You are the dream and the dreamer, the artist and the art, the breath and the breather. Everything you touch becomes sacred when touched with awareness. A life without separation. The greatest illusion the mind ever created is separation. Between you and others. Between you and life. Between you and the divine. But when you awaken, the boundaries begin to dissolve. You start seeing yourself in everything. In the laughter of a child. In the stillness of a forest. In the eyes of a stranger. This recognition is not sentimentality, it's truth. Because in the deepest sense, there are no others. There is only consciousness, wearing infinite faces, playing infinite roles, learning infinite lessons. And when you live with that awareness, every act becomes an act of love. The final shift. You were once the observer of your mind, then the shaper of your thoughts, then the director of your destiny. Now, you are something more. You are the awareness behind it all, the infinite intelligence expressing itself as you. Your journey through the conscious and subconscious was never about control. It was about integration, remembering the totality of your being. You have come full circle, and now, the circle has no edge. Key takeaways. You are not separate from life. You are life, aware of itself. The conscious and subconscious are instruments of a greater intelligence, you. Awakening is not the acquisition of power, but the remembrance of unity. True creation comes from wholeness, not desire. When you live from the infinite within, peace and purpose become your natural state. Reflection exercise, the infinite meditation. 1. Sit in stillness. Close your eyes and take a deep breath. With every inhale, feel yourself expanding beyond the limits of body and identity. With every exhale, release the illusion of separation. 2. Repeat silently. I am not my thoughts. I am the awareness behind them. I am the space in which all creation unfolds. 3. Visualize. A vast field of light stretching infinitely in all directions. Feel yourself dissolve into that field, not disappearing, but merging. 4. Return gently. When you open your eyes, carry that stillness with you. Let it color your words, your actions, your presence. You have walked through shadow and flame. You have faced the depths of your mind and the mystery of your heart. And now, you stand as the bridge between the finite and the infinite, human enough to feel, divine enough to create. This is your rebirth, not as the person you once were, but as the presence that has always been. Eternal, aware, limitless. The journey of the mind ends here. The journey of consciousness begins.